47-year-old Kenji Goto is a respected freelance journalist who has written books on children in war zones. He was covering the Syrian humanitarian crisis. 42-year-old Haruna Yukawa's background is a little more unclear. He was struggling with bankruptcy and the recent death of his wife. He had been working as a security contractor, but is believed to have been training with rebel fighters. Japan's prime minister has vowed to save both the men's lives. Security expert Derek Humble joins this morning to talk more about this latest hostage-taking by ISIS. It's good to have you here.
Good morning.
First question to you, why go public with this debate?
Well, that's the intriguing thing, is because if you're really serious in the world of kidnap and ransom, you tend to keep the demands quiet. It leaves open the negotiation process, because quite often people ask figure X and end up with agreeing to figure Y. You can't do that if you've come right out of it. So the motive behind this is pretty interesting.
First time that they've asked for money as well, the $200 million. And overtly, and that's a good point.
Yeah.
And clearly, it's got a connection to the $200 million that Japanese Prime Minister Abe said that he would put forward for the coalition troops. But what else is going on there, Derek?
Well, I'm not so sure they're not suffering from the same malaise as we are in the West with the dropping of gas prices. I mean, they get a lot of money from places like Turkey, other Arab countries for their oil. Now, their price will have dropped as well, and they're probably finding that running a caliphate is not a cheap business. You've got to have arms, ammunition, and the ISIS fighters are actually one of the few terrorist groups that pay their employees, so to speak. So they've got to keep that up. People are motivated from a religious perspective, but also if their money suddenly stops, some of them might be thinking, well, perhaps like this isn't as good an idea. So they might have financial issues that they're trying to deal with as well.
They're continuously changing the game, though.
Well, that's what's intriguing about these people, is I think they've got some pretty savvy spin doctors. I think they're playing the social media, the media full-time is what they're trying to do. So any message that they give out, I think is pretty well thought through. They tend not to be knee-jerk, these guys.
The Japanese Prime Minister has a very tough decision here. I mean, either one is going to have dire consequences.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, he's in a lose-lose situation. One of the things that people keep asking me is, will they pay? Well, the only way that you'll know that they paid is if these two individuals are released, and then they have to explain why they're released. I mean, countries particularly pay ransom. It's the more expedient, it's the pragmatic thing to do. I mean, the Canadian government pays ransoms. We know that now from incidents in Africa. So it's very, very tough for this Prime Minister.
Just because a ransom is paid doesn't mean the hostages get set free.
Oh, I think they probably will. If they pay, they'll get... because in the kidnap and ransom business is a bit of a cottage industry. And what you don't want to do is to pay a ransom and then the individual gets killed, because the next people that get kidnapped, the ransom process is completely different. I said, well, you know, last time you killed somebody, and even though they paid the ransom. So I think if they get released, the ransom's been paid. I think if they pay the ransom, they'll get released.
Derek Humble, good to have you here.
You're welcome.
U.S. President Barack Obama delivered his State of the Union speech last